I work in a retail store, one mentioned by Wes, J.C. Penney. And I saw them coming down the center aisle. Willie and Shirley, I learned their names later. Willie was on his walker and Shirley had her cane. I saw them stop by the Levi jeans, examine a pair of jeans and throw it onto the walker and make their way towards me. Shirley approached me. "Do you know where the fitting rooms are?" I pointed to the back corner. "Right over there, ma'am. Did you find everything you needed?" I tell you, he's lost weight. Just look at his ass in those pants. I smiled to myself and I guided them to the Levi fitting room. I showed them to the handicap fitting room, which had a bench in the end of it for them to sit on. I said, "Why don't you try on those pair of pants and I'll see if I can find another pair that might fit Willie a little bit better." I went and grabbed a pair of Levi's that I thought would be a nice fit for Willie and his ass. And I went back, and as I sometimes do, I forget that when you're older, it takes you longer than 10 minutes to change your pants. So I knocked on the door, and I was about to throw the pants over the door and say, "How about these?" when Shirley said, "Oh, it's okay, you can come in." I opened the door, and there stood Willie, pants down around his ankles in his boxers. I backed up. I said, "Oh, I'm sorry." No, she said, "It's okay." I said, "Here, why don't you try these? I'll come back." This time I gave him lots of time. I came in. Willie was standing with the pants on. Shirley was examining them. Yeah, I think they look good. I think we'll take those," she said. Then she said, turned to Willie and she said, "You can go ahead and take them off." Well, Willie undid the button and the pants immediately fell down around his ankles. And now he's standing in his boxers again. And I turned to leave and Shirley says, "Oh, just a minute. He needs some new boxers." And she begins to pull on the bottom of Willie's boxers, and I was afraid that any moment she was going to free Willie. She stopped, thankfully, in time, so that didn't happen. She said, "I forgot my glasses. Can you look and see what size he wears?" I carefully folded over Willie's boxers. I saw that they were a large. I said, "How many packages would you like?" "Why don't you get us 2? And I turned to leave, and she stopped me again. She said, "Just a minute." She said, "Do you have those St. John Bay women capri pants?" I said, "Yeah, I believe we do." She said, "Well, could you get me a pair, black or blue, size 18? I said, "Okay." And I set off to get the boxers and the capri pants. I returned with both of those items in hand. I knocked on the door, and Shirley said, "Come in." I opened the door, and Willie's still standing in his boxers, trying to put his pants back on, and I look over at Shirley, and now she's sitting in her granny panties, her hands folded over her lap so as to cover her lady part so as not to entice me, and I think, holy shit, I'm in some sort of fitting room menage a trois. I start to back up, and Shirley's like, no, give me the pants. So I hand the pants to Shirley. I back up and I leave the fitting room. I shut the door tightly behind me and I escape to the Levi's section, thankful to be safe. This time I give a lot of time. I knock on the door. "How's everything?" "Okay, you can come in." I'm scared, but I do it anyway. I open the door. Thankfully, everybody's fully clothed. Shirley holds the St. John Bay capris out and says, "I'm not going to take these." She said, "But we'll take the Levi's and the underwear." They stand up to leave, and as they get by me, Shirley says, "Here, we want you to have this," and she's holding a $10 bill. I said, "No, I'm not allowed to take tips." "Oh, for God's sake. There's nobody in here that's going to see it. There's no cameras, and we're not telling on you. Just take the money. You earned it." So I took the $10 and I put it in my pocket. She looked at me and she said, "You know, Doyle," she said, "you made this so much easier. I tell you," she said, "we were just dreading this outing because it takes us so long to do anything. And you made it absolutely easy for us. Thank you so much." And she shuffled off towards the cash register. And as I watched them go, I thought to myself, you know, It doesn't take much sometimes. A little bit of time, a little bit of energy to make somebody's day. I can't change the world. I can't change it and make it a safer place, but I can make a difference to a few people. So I want to challenge you tonight. How about tomorrow? We all make an effort to help somebody find the right pair of pants. Thank you.